I'm gonna let the guys do the running. Oh, thank you.
All right, I got a lot here. What? Come take a couple.
Yeah, the state was funny, all my school is fine today.
You need anything?
I think we're good. Thank you very much. So if you turn it, I turn it like this.
You know, I'm not getting up.
Share. Oh, there was. Yes, we had some. There's a lot of them.
You have these, right? Yeah, those are yours.
Down, down. James. What do you do? I don't know if I lied.
John, turn them on.
Ready? We have anybody seen it?
Yeah, we do. Taylor and Neil are coming up. Taylor and Neil. Taylor.
It's out.
All right, we're good.
Good. Good evening, everybody. Can you all hear me back there? Pretty good. We please stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag. We have another special treat tonight. Dale O'Neill is here someplace. She's going to sing the national anthem for us. Please stay standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's I was so beautiful at the start, back in who got round that brought through the past. Words forget, speech that our voices there. Oh, sailors that are stable,
Great job. Thank you. The first time on agenda tonight is student recognition, and this is always a favorite part of all our board meetings. So we're going to start with student citations. We're going to start with, I believe, Dr. Ford.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Board of Ed. Good evening, Dr. Ferris, everyone here. Wonderful time tonight. We're going to get to celebrate our students. So I would like to invite a few students up here first before we talk a little bit about their accomplishments. And then Maggie Betzel, Anthony Babino, Jordan Hamill, and Dominic Cesarino. Please join me up front. For every year, the town of Sayville and Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs holds its annual Sharpshooter Award. This is a basketball competition where fourth and fifth graders get chosen based on their ability to score a set amount of points, various points. Trust me, their shot was better than all of ours combined. And let me just highlight our first place winners at Sunrise Drive, and then they went on to compete for Sayville at the Town of Iceland competition. Good job, fun. Congratulations to each of you. Have a round of applause.
We have more citation, becoming the third place in the summer basketball competition. As they went on to represent some stress. Congratulations for education. Go ahead, guys, follow that.
Parents, you want to come up and take pictures? Go ahead. Go ahead, quick. Before they run away.
All right, next up from Sunrise Drive, we have our winners for our annual science fair competition. So will our winners please join me down here? Leah Gallo, Christian Gallo,
And Matthew Bailey.
All right, so today I went around and interviewed our young scientists. Not only did we learn a little bit about their science fair project, they had a little fun doing it. So Leah's science fair project was titled, "What's the Scoop?" And the best part, she said, was eating the waffle cone that she got to determine whether or not it was going to keep the ice cream cold or not. So great job. Congratulations, Leah. They did an experiment on Battle of the Davids to see which one was going to be able to spin the longest. And they asked him what he really decided was being able to spin the Davids. So great job. Congratulations, Richard. Clayton, I hope you're watching home, you're not feeling well today. Clayton did an experiment on simply how to keep apples from rotting the longest. And it's very important. So congratulations to Clayton. Laura did an interesting experiment. She did an experiment to determine whether or not people choose drinks, whether based on its color or its flavor. And in the end, people actually chose drinks based on their color, not their flavor. And the most popular was blue. The weirdest was red. Right from our side. Definitely did an experiment titled Fire Extinguisher. He had to eat a lot of spicy chicken nuggets, right? And he tried to figure out what extinguished that burn in your mouth the fastest, and it was vanilla ice cream, of course. And his favorite part of it was the fact that you got to eat spicy foods, although he would have rather eat wings, right? Yeah. Okay, all right, you guys made an experiment, turn and burn, where he was trying to determine which types of wood would burn the longest and the shortest. I believe it was birch that was the shortest, oak the longest, correct? But the cool thing was that Matthew was on his way to school one day, didn't have any idea of how or what he was going to do for science, and got his inspiration from a truck driving by when you were on the bus.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So inspiration can come everywhere. How about a round of applause for all of that?
There you go. Congratulations, Alan. Congratulations. Congratulations. You can do that. Congratulations.
Hey, all right, one picture. Good job, Beth.
Again, if parents wants to come up and take pictures, come on up.
I have another question for the board of ed. Your Matthews would need to know what the font was of the word citation. So if anyone knows, let us know. Very curious. Just at 25. Emily Slip, are you here? Where's Emily? I saw her. Come on over, Emily. All right, so Emily is one of our resident musicians here. She comes from a very musical family. We know each other very well. But Emily represented Sunrise Drive both at LISPA and Skamia this year. So LISPA goes all the way back to 1956, where it's the Long Island Fringe Festival, and your instrument made such beautiful sounds that you participated in with the entire island. So congratulations for your LISPA accomplishments. And then Skamia is based on NISMO results, which is a competitive type of singing with children at score, recommendations from their music teachers as well. The rehearsals for the All County Festival would traditionally occur within the first 2 weekends of March. And then they culminate in 7 concerts across all of Suffolk County, and they put such beautiful voices together. Emily represented Sunrise Drive in both of those events. So congratulations to you, Emily.
And that's Camille, all county central division. Or, and you will also be in a concert of March 12th.
Yeah, the concert still plays, but
We are proud to present this award to your achievement and dedication to
All right, last but not least, we summarize that in Dominic Stefano and
the leaders come in all sizes and ages, and this year, both Dominic and Savannah will be representing Sunrise Drive as the Suffolk Zone Physical Fitness Leadership Award. This is not an award for the best athletes. This is an award for children who act like leaders for their peers, and they lead by example. They show kindness, empathy, all of the traits that we're proud of, and they set a great tone for all of their parts. So this year's leaders from Sunrise Drive, and Savannah, congratulations.
Dominic and Savannah for receiving the 2023 Suffolk Zone Physical Education Leadership Award. We congratulate you on your commitment to fitness and sport, and which has helped you earn this award. Congratulations. Thank you, Dr. Foy. Next up, we have Kerry Avenue, Dr. Ein.
Alex Smith, Billy Glad, William Nelson, and Brenda McCormick, please join me. Ella and Billy are our 4th grade winners. William Nelson and Brenda McCormick represented us for 5th grade in the annual ice sharpshooter contest, which for over 37 years, this program has helped students improve not only their basketball skills, but promoting the benefits of physical activity as an alternative to drugs and alcohol use. Julia Masson is not with us tonight, also placed first last year when she was in 4th grade. Congratulations not only to your hard work, but your athletic achievements. The Sayville Board of Education is pleased to present a certificate for the 3-4 Cherry Avenue Town of High School basketball sharpshooter winner. We congratulate you on your commitment to physical fitness and sportsmanship, which has helped you earn this award. Congratulations. The following 6 students are recognized as placing first in our annual Cherry Mountain Science Fair. They will also be representing our school at the Brookhaven National Lab Science Fair in the next month. First place winners, please join me. Jeffrey Howard, Ruth Griffin, Hannah Howard, Catherine Perchie, John Boucher, and Brendan Burrow. Familiar faces because they've won multiple. So I will start with kindergarten, Jeffrey. His project entitled Measuring with Monster Trucks. Jeffrey learned that the steeper the slope of a ramp will cause the monster trucks to travel shorter. Great job, Jeffrey. In first grade, his project entitled Gummy Bear Osmosis. Ruth learned that gummy bears will grow in place in tap water and baking soda water, but they dissolve in salt water and vinegar. Ruth then took it a step further and he reflected his finding and suggested moving forward he will refrigerate the water so the gummy bear's shape doesn't change. Congratulations, Ruth. Now we have a second grader painting with pigments. Emma learned that painting with plant pigments is not easy and it takes a lot of flowers. Some petals do not produce the same color paint as the flower itself. Last year, while she was in first grade, Emma also placed first. Congratulations, Emma. Moving on to fourth grade with Catherine, the effect of temperature on yeast fermentation in bread making. She found that yeast rises fast. Temperature is at least 105 degrees, and Emma, I've failed many times with bread. I probably should have known this information. It will also yield the lightest and fluffiest bread baked when you raise it at that temperature. Catherine also placed first in her grade level when she was in kinder and first grade. The third time being first grade. Congratulations. Mr. John Boucher. Every single year, his project is based around Sayville, and he has placed first in kindergarten, now he's in fourth grade. This year, his project entitled Not So Sayville. John learned that Sayville is not only safe for walkers, because people are not following many of the rules. So maybe we have to look at this. Such as stopping at stop signs or at the crosswalk on Main Street, as well as all the bikers and skateboarders in town. I'd also like to note again that John is already thinking about his project next year, and we already know it was a Sayville based. Congratulations, John. Fifth grader Brendan Burke can't stop the Wi-Fi with all of our technology listed, which is really important. Brendan discovered that wood blocks the Wi-Fi signal better than any other object.
Really?
And that it's best to have a clear path from the router to the device in use. Thanks for listening. The Board of Education would like to present these awards to all of you for being science fair winners. We are so very proud of your achievement and dedication to excellence. Congratulations. Last but not least, Chloe Rogers and Brendan Corman. Chloe and Brandon are the recipients of the 2023 Suffolk Zone Elementary Physical Education Student Leadership Award. This award is given to students who demonstrate outstanding leadership, personal health, wellness, quality sportsmanship, consideration for others, and excellence in leading. It comes as no surprise to me that these two students are here with us tonight, receiving this recognition as they are leaders in their own right every single day. Sherry and Elton, congratulations. We give it this award to Chloe and Brenton for receiving the Cherry Avenue Southern Athletic Leadership Award. We congratulate you on your commitment to physical fitness and sportsmanship, which has helped to earn this award. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Line. Next up is Mr. Bulls, Lincoln Avenue.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to start by recognizing Lincoln Avenue students for being their first place prize winner at for each one of their grade level science camp. We start with Drew Kochi, Francesca Corso, Julianne Blanco, Farnika Ubertiru, Madeline Dicto, and Avery Ridley. Give them a round of applause. Each one of these students' projects will all be unique and display each one of their curiosity and scientific thinking. I'm going to give each one of them a real quick chance to maybe tell us one thing that you learned from the project. What do you think? Start right here. Tell us your name and one thing you learned from the project.
My name is Avery, and from my project, I was that photo, so the photo that is the best way to do it.
Very interesting.
My name is Julian Fontel, and what I learned from this project is that I should write.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Well,
And you remember what's one thing that you learned from your project?
I learned that would stay on plastic wrap and whole in oil.
Great job. Great job. This is my day.
This certificate of recognition is presented to all of you by the State Board of Education for winning first place for the grade level Lincoln Avenue Science Fair. We are proud of your achievement and dedication to academic excellence. And I just want to say, as a parent, I remember the sweat trying to do these projects with my own kids, and as a former science teacher, I absolutely love the work.
All right, our next group of Lincoln Avenue students are going to be recognized for their participation in the town of Iceland sharpshooter contest. We have Avery Gilbert, Robinson Gabriel, Juliana Garavaro, and Christopher Buchanan. As you heard my colleague said before, these students have excelled in their skills in basketball, and I'm glad that I'm not challenging any of you to game sports or basketball, as they have obviously excelled in their shot shooting skills. So give them a round of applause.
The Sayville Board of Education, please present this certificate to all of you for representing Lincoln Avenue Elementary at the Town of Islip Sharpshooter Contest. We congratulate you on your commitment to physical fitness, sportsmanship, which is helping you on the team.
Now, our last group of Lincoln Avenue Award winners. These students are being recognized for the Suffolk Zone Visit Leadership Award. We have Janelle Mel, Carter, sorry, and Avery Lady. Come on down over here. So let me get my title. One of my favorite things about this award is truly is a leadership award, which is an outstanding character trait. As my colleague Dr. Boyd said, it's not just about athletic ability, it's also about your ability to be a leader. And your phys ed teachers at Lincoln Avenue said that you guys are outstanding leaders. So let's give them a big round of applause.
The Board of Education, please present this certificate to both of you in recognition for receiving the Suffolk Zone Physical Education Leadership Award. Congratulate you on your commitment to physical fitness, sportsmanship, and which is help you on the team.
Thank you, Mr. Bullis. Next up, Ms. Urso.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to say congratulations to all the winners tonight. And Emma, super impressive, making paint out of figures. Like that's amazing. I'm sorry, so I'm looking forward to having you in the department and there. I just want to take a moment to thank the community and the Board of Ed for all your support for this year. Your support allows me to do so many opportunities and allows so many doors to be open, and I really appreciate that. It means a lot to our students. This year, our theme for the school year was to be AP art of something big, and they always made me in the art department, and they really went big for 2023. So we have 75 plus students participating in art clubs during lunch or after school at our elementary school. We have, at the middle school, we have over 70 students participating in art club and the mural club. That happens after school, they give back to the middle school as well as the community. And at the high school, we have 25 plus members of art club, 75 members of our National Art Society, and they all give back to their community while participating in 25 plus events, and it's still going on. So it's just, they never cease to amaze me how much kids love getting involved and the wonderful things that they're doing. Even our fashion club is going into town this weekend and doing some first shopping at Paper Doll and walking through the community, being part of all the stores that are there and really enjoying everything about the public community. I'd like to congratulate 3 of our amazing art students representing each of our elementary schools with their outstanding artwork at the Bay Area Friends of the Fine Art Show here at the Black House. I'd like to ask Ms. Ainsley to come up and also allow to help me to give this 3 away. So I'd like to congratulate the Summer Drive with and Kingsley, May, Manuel. With Mr. Michael, I'd like to congratulate Rosalie Teresi from Lincoln and Manuel. And finally, with Ms. Messi and Cherry Avenue, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Kayla Greco.
We have this equal board of education, I'd like to congratulate you all, for winning the BAFA award, respective, school, and receiving the best award for outstanding art, the BAFA Art Gallery Show. The crowd presents this award for achievement and dedication to the pursuit of artistic excellence, and I can say that for kids, you are in great hands. Art, school, culture is amazing, and so nice to see you guys are also putting in these steps. Congratulations.
I would like to have our middle school principal, Mr. Thorough, come up here and help me out with the next award. We would like to congratulate Ella Cullen from our middle school, not only for her outstanding. We're congratulating you not only for your outstanding art ability, but also that she was happy she was giving back. She taught the entire art club how to make a gnome out of yarn. And they made all ornaments that raised money for, to make sure I get the right, Splashes of Hope. That's what we raised money for. They gave money to Splashes of Hope from all the ornaments that they sold, and she taught everyone how to make one. So we love to recognize you for that. Thank you very much for getting that.
On behalf of the Sayville Board of Education, we'd like to
Can I have it?
congratulate you,
Does he have a
your initiative, the use of your art.
No, we're good, thank you. So I said, is this or you? I know, that was it, yeah.
I'd like to invite Mr. Halbert to help me with the next award. We have two very creative visionaries at the high school who were selected to participate in the Advanced Visions Art Show at the University of Long Island. Long Island University. Their work can be seen here on display. These two beautiful pieces. They are prints of their pieces. They're gorgeous in person. They look great in print as well, and they will be displayed at the administration building in the superintendent's secretary office right outside. So we are so proud of these two students who represent Sayville in this amazing show and their vision and their creativity with all they've done. So I'd like to bring up Nicholas Mancula and Ava.
After the Sayville Board of Education, we'd like to send you the citation to be selected to the advanced student art exhibit. So that present this award for achievement, dedication, and pursuit of excellence. Thank you for sharing your art. Yeah. I just want to take a moment to thank the teachers and staff at all 5 of the art school, the building principal. And, we wake up every day and we work to help the schools, but the best part of our day is getting to see our students get the awards and celebrate the work that they do. So I want to congratulate our staff, our teachers, our administration, our families, and all of our students for the wonderful work that they do. Thank you so much. And there's one more. Jump to that.
You jumped the pen. Yeah, no.
Finally, I would like to recognize 2 outstanding individuals that together have inspired many of other at the high school. As a teacher, we dream of a student that inspires us as much as we hope to inspire them. This student does all that, and so does the teacher that she has. I personally can remember the bond I have with my art teacher. Actually, tell us for it's all we can short as well. I usually don't. A couple of weeks ago, I got a text from, it's a random text from, we haven't talked to her in 5 years maybe, to say congratulations on accomplishments in my high school art teacher. And she just wrote, congratulations on your accomplishments, and I'm so proud of you. And at 49 years old, it still meant so much to know that I made them proud. So I can only hope that I would do that for others, and I know that our staff, including Mr. Hammer, will inspire those at our high school to do that as well. We hope to give that back to Sayville High School. We are so proud of Morgan Giordano, also for being selected. Come on up, you folks, come on up. Morgan Giordano was selected to represent Sayville High School at the Long Island Fest competition. I kind of always associate our name with words, the LICs of art, and she did it. Out of 553 entries, they accepted 91 works of art. Morgan came in fourth. So it's not really good. He really went big. I was saying this year. So excited. Ms. Hammer also did receive the Outstanding Art Teacher Award for us.
I have to say the board of graduation board for your mixed media work and out of beyond the labs. The board is accepted to represent Sayville High School in the Long Island Festival Art Exhibition next year. You will want 91 artists, 552 artworks across all of Long Island of the select this show for the base of the video. The graphic essentially is the award of the achievement dedication to the right text. Mr. Hammer, I'd like to congratulate you on behalf of the board for receiving the Outstanding Teacher Award. Congratulations on your outstanding work, for all of your recognition, your proud to achieve it. And again, speaking to the culture that you created, I can speak as a parent how much my daughter loves you, the space and around to our program that you, we appreciate how hard you work. I was mentioned that.
Thank you, Ms. Urso. And again, once again, I'm sorry, Mark. This is probably the best part of being a board member is giving the opportunity to give out student citations and recognitions. We appreciate the hard work and dedication of our students, our staff, and especially our students. So let's give them one big round of applause. We need Connect What to hear this, so let's give them a big round of applause.
One thing I'll add is everything you heard me say 5 minutes ago, pretend like I said it right now.
So-
We're really proud of all of our students, and it's really a pleasure to be able to serve this community. It's a wonderful place. We're very grateful.
So if any parent and students want to go home and enjoy this and celebrate with your kids, go on. And if anyone wants to step down so it can be a little bit closer to us, so you can hear us a little better, come on down. So have a good night for those who are going to leave. Actually, I have to stay, actually.
Wow.
Next item on our agenda this evening is correspondence. We received a letter from the Sayville Schools Charitable Foundation. I'll pass it to my right and back to the left. Next item on our agenda tonight is superintendent's reports. Dr. Mark Ferris.
Thank you so much. And again, if you're staying, come on down, sit close, so you can hear us. If you're going, that's wonderful too, but it's better go. So again, I just want to congratulate all of our students. Just such a wonderful experience to watch students excel in all aspects of education, whether it's academically, through science fairs, whether it's artistic and musical skill sets, and or in sports. Sayville has so many talented students, and it's a real pleasure to watch. Just want to kind of go around the district and congratulate a couple other students that are not here tonight, but one more time, we just want to celebrate. Our Sayville High School presented a music banner a couple of weeks ago, and they did an absolutely phenomenal job. And congratulate again the staff and the students who participated in the music band. At the high school, we had some anatomy students get to go online and watch it after studying anatomy for a course of time. On the 22nd, they were able to go online and watch a live, surgery of an aorta, and it was quite an experience for the students. They were very excited to see an open heart surgery actually occur after studying the heart for so long. And again, these are some of the wonderful experiences we try to create in our schools for students. We partner with local groups and get these experiences for our students who are interested in that. At Cherry Avenue, we're studying science, and one of the teachers, Mrs. Moran's class, in fourth grade, had been making magic wands, but we were trying to create a connection between magic and science. So the wands actually conducted electricity, and there was a whole bunch of tests on the wands, and the kids had a blast learning about electricity and how it conducts through different materials as they made their magic. Students at the middle school participating in the BAFA art show. Congratulations to all the students at the middle school who were chosen to have their art displayed at the annual BAFA art show on March 25th. Middle school art teachers, Alexandra Swenzer and Tiffany Pontieri, said that the art they chose for the display was selected for one of two reasons. The piece really stood out when the student put an exceptional amount of effort and time into it. Again, another example of our students excelling in art in places all over Long Island. And on March 16th and 17th, Sayville School celebrated Choose to Include Day. Choose to Include Day is an initiative run by the Special Olympics that encourages children and adults to think about why it is essential that all people are respected, acknowledged, and valued. And it's just a nice day to kind of recognize students of the class. We're going to do a security overview of just the programs. I know security is on our minds, especially with recent events going on throughout the nation. We're constantly updating and upgrading our security programs. So we're going to kind of do a program tonight where we just kind of review our security protocols, not all the details, because some details we need to keep private for security reasons, but the general idea of our staffing, of how we operate, of how much funding for each budget cycle goes into the security that we have. We've also invited Officer Di Benedetto from the 5th Precinct to join us, talk about the partnership we have with the 5th Precinct. We work with the 5th Precinct and the Homeland Security to look at our plans, to review our plans, to make suggestions, and then we implement a lot of those, and they're very helpful to us. And we have a great partnership, so we're really fortunate to have them here tonight with us. And I want to just reiterate, we have 42 security guards in the district for our 5 buildings, 41 of whom are retired law enforcement officers. And Dr. Gergis and Mr. Simone, our head of security, are here tonight to speak about that. After they go through all of the aspects of our security program, we're constantly looking to improve and to make it better and to ensure that we're following the trends in the nation and in the world, and make sure that we're doing the best we can with the buildings and grounds we have. So Parents will then be invited to comment, ask questions, and we'll try to answer them to the best of our ability, and also make suggestions. So we're open to hearing those suggestions and then talking about that further. So at this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Curtis to just begin the presentation. The microphone is over there. Yeah, we'll do our best. I can do it if you want. Yeah.
Good evening again, next minister and Officer Benedetto is at the front. So to reiterate the security program here at Sayville High School, we're going to go over in personnel and some of the protocols in place here. We have currently 42 security guards that are on staff, 41 of which have prior law enforcement experience. Of that number, 17 of those security guards actually reside at the Sayville schools within the district. So they do have invested community interests for not just their campus, but the community as a whole. The high school staffing line, we have 11 guards, middle school 6, and the elementary school, we have 5 guards that are there full time. Security guards are present outside during the arrival, dismissal, and recess periods. They also receive training in the following areas annually: CPR, first aid, CPI training, Narcan, and stop and bleed. With respect to patrol, the district security vehicle conducts regular patrols throughout the day at each building. Additional perimeter checks at each building are conducted by the assigned district security staff and also with the knowledge of the building administrator, and if need be, they will be assigned to do additional patrols on demand. We do have regularly scheduled weekend patrols with an assigned rotation of district guards, so there is a familiarity not just on the ground, but what they need to do, and also security has been present and will continue to be at all athletic and district sponsored events, and that is sometimes in addition to having the precinct there in certain events.
Yeah, just want to add that when we have an event where we see that large numbers are coming, we often reach out to the 5th precinct. They provide officers to kind of patrol the area and or be on school grounds, such as like the middle school had the Golden Sneakers. We had 2 officers come by when we had our some athletic events or Saturday event. We'll just be several hundred people.
It should be noted that when there is a police presence, it is not because there is an emergency or problem. It is sometimes for crowd control, for traffic, but also for to regulate, some of the aspects of the event itself. Program protocols and training. We do work closely with Suffolk County Department of Division of Homeland Security, and they actually conducted assessments of each building, implementing the recommendations currently in progress, and that actually came as a result of the security conference that myself and other administrators attended during the summer. We're actually one of the earlier districts that had the walkthroughs to assess what we have in place, what we may need, and any improvements both in terms of staffing, protocols, procedure, entrances, and etc. We're currently in the process of scheduling an active shooter training with the Department of Homeland Security.
I just want to emphasize that training will be with all staff and each one.
We have a schedule an active shooter drill at Sayville High School, also with the Department of Homeland Security, which has an actual drill mountain training.
Could you just talk a little bit more about what that looks like and how to
Actually elaborate? The expert on this. So.
That would be a tabletop exercise where police would come in and there would be a scenario where there's an active shooter in the building and they would go throughout the building, go into the room. There would be people intending to be victims on the floor. They would also probably have a person as a gunman, like hidden somewhere in the building, and they would have to search and find the person where they are. And basically what their basic training is in active shooter, they could just conduct a drill doing that.
Yeah, and I think one thing I just want to that doesn't happen during the school day. The students in the building, students are not in the building, and the police officers then get a sense of the building, so they can practice going through and knowing where things are. So if they ever are called, it's not like the first time they're running down the hallway. They get comfortable with where things are in the school.
And we do have officers from about the precinct that visit the various buildings just to look at the layout, just in case they do have to respond to any incident.
In addition, all buildings regularly conduct fire evacuation and lockdown drills, which are also required by the New York State Department of Education. And we need to follow on those. In terms of technology, which is a critical aspect of security nowadays, we do have a district-wide camera system upgrade in progress, and that will actually interface with the Suffolk County Police Department. They will be able to access our monitoring system in the event of an emergency, so the response will be more coordinated. We have the installation of door swipes, which is currently underway. And if you go to some of the buildings, you'll see them on the outside of the door, and the wiring is also in progress as well.
And so the door swipe system is basically that every single classroom door has a swipe marker on it, and the teacher will have an ID, and that teacher opens that door. So when the door is closed, it's automatically locked. So if there's a drill, teachers don't have to lock the door to close the door, because one of the things that has been recommended is a teacher shouldn't be in the hallway trying to fiddle with a lock when there's an intruder. So when the doors are closed, and they will be closed all the time, they're automatically locked from the inside. Students and teachers can leave, but nobody can get in without a swipe badge. So each classroom will have a swipe at each doorway, in addition to the swipes that are on the outside of the door.
Now, stay closed,
Yeah.
when this is.
Correct. Continue. Sorry,
So,
I have to press the button. Yeah.
we also have the RAVE app for district staff, who can notify the staff members of any sort of emergency, lockdown, or anything that would be of concern. In addition, we have anticipated communication devices with computers that have that came in at the beginning of the year, as we are starting to exit out those that are older. We have another 25 additional radios coming next year alongside, and we realize the support because as the technology has evolved, you also need comparable radios such that your channels, communication, your ability to get in touch with one another, and also their functionality is there.
And I just want to clarify that right now, we have cameras on all the exterior areas in the district. After this project is done, we'll have cameras in all hallways, in all large public spaces. They'll be connected to the systems, or you can look on an iPad, you can know where, check all the areas. When doors are ajar or open, they get an alert at the front now, and that's currently in place. But the door swipe system will be in place in June, and then that will go into effect.
Will the windows be the same?
We'll get into it.
Got a question about the radios?
If you can hold your questions till it's done, and then we'll come back around. I apologize.
Recently, the superintendent reiterated to staff as did I about the importance of keeping doors closed, which was just mentioned as part of operating security protocols, and the building principals also did the same with their staff. This is absolutely critical because the easiest point of entry is an open door, and not just in the interest of intrusion, but in the interest of deterrence as well. It's imperative to have all the doors closed, because it's a simple door. Continuing on with the program and responsive interaction. Annually, we have to submit building and district safety plans. At the beginning of the school year, the board approves the district safety plan, which we post. Individual building plans are at the buildings and are at confidential for students. All buildings also have individual health and safety meetings, and they report to a larger committee that I hold, which is the division for health and safety. Building also has a emergency level response team that they regularly go through. And as mentioned before, the fifth precinct officers continue to conduct walkthroughs in each building, and we do have, again, a fifth precinct officer presented that with us today. Just not that they just show up, but they will also go through, conduct their own assessments, and also do evaluation.
And that last one was just this summer, right? We just did that evaluation in late August. Right?
The Suffolk County Police Homeland Security, we did that in November, but that was based on the summer conference.
Gotcha. Also, just before we go to the next slide, I know parents are going to ask about doors. So can you talk about the double door entry, what the doors are made out of, and also any questions about windows?
So currently we have vestibules in all of the buildings. So there's the initial point of entry, and then there is a district security guard who would check in the parent or the staff member or whomever else. They would sign them in, and then we would bring them to the building with an assigned or designated place.
We have windows where the guards speak to the visitors through, so that they do not enter into the building unless they're authorized to be in there for any reason.
And at those front entrances, the guards have computer screens that visually show all of the outside cameras.
Yeah,
And after June, we'll also show all the inside cameras, so they can constantly monitor, different hallways and different areas of traffic.
Along those lines, we have school resource officers designated by some kind of police that have met and community with building principals with like school safety protocols, confidential matters that might deal with students and other procedures that may be necessary. The Smart School Bond Act, that was approved many years ago, allowed for funding of security projects, and that was allocated to Sayville, and the amount was, as you see on the screen, just under $1.5 million, of which that money included project for the installation of interior and exterior security cameras and the associated wiring, DVRs and programming throughout the district, and show the specifics of the door access control hardware panels. There are 5 remote door releases, which are the ones that we just mentioned with vestibules. We're looking at 502 door building access proposals to build doors, like 142 cameras, internal and external. The external ones would be upgraded, 6 DVRs, 5 schools, and also the administration building complex that would have a 16 terabyte storage capacity. So we would be able to hold quite a bit of camera footage.
So that $1.4 million is all part of this project that's kind of happening.
Correct. This was approved some time ago, funding, and the actual project specs itself are what are on the screen, as in what is the district doing in terms of security upgrades and technology.
And Officer Benedetto, can you talk to us a little bit about the partnership that we have with you, just so that the community kind of understands how we work together, and then your assessment of our overall security and what we've experienced here in the field?
Sure. I've been assigned to the 5th precinct for almost 30 years. I've been a cop for almost 33. I've always been assigned to the 5th. We've always had a great relationship with all the schools, Sayville included. We have 2 school resource officers that are in touch with the principals on an almost daily basis with calls that they get from the students, tips that they get from the teachers, what was overset on the buses, because that's how most of this stuff comes in lately. Or a student will post something online, the school resource officers are on it right away, and they're out to the schools to find out if it's credible, if it was just a kid saying it, which most of the time it is, and it's not a credible threat. But then we have a process we go through where we're reaching out to the parents, and we're going to the house to find out what else is also going on. We do regular active shooter drills. We probably, years ago, maybe we did 1 a year. Now we do at least 5 or 6, which has increased even more. And even that training has changed because, as we have more school shootings, unfortunately, there's different aspects of it that change it. It used to be you'd waited for the first 3 or 4 cars to get there, and then you all went in. Now it's the first car that gets there, that guy's running, and he's not waiting for 3 guys to get there. You're running towards whatever you hear you have to run towards. But we've always had a great relationship with Sayville, the administration, the school board. Anything that they've needed from us, we've always provided, like football games, any event where it's going to be a large crowd, we're always there for them.
And we really appreciate that. It's been a great partnership. I remember we just had something in the fall, and there was almost 10 police officers at an event that we could have 3, but
Right.
10 show up. It's just wonderful.
I should also mention this to Officer Dynas. One of the things that Dan Esselon, our director of facilities, may not well look at is something that's known as ballistic film, which is a film cover that goes over windows or door entrance windows. It's not something that I'm trying to say that we're going to do, but with the feasibility of that, both in terms of effectiveness and also how that can affect response in terms of emergency. Something that we're looking at.
Could you talk a little bit about what the people who sell these materials are saying it does, and that's what we're looking into, just so that people understand how that would have with windows.
Important bulletproof glass in the simplest effect. It's not bulletproof glass, and it's something that would deter or slow down sort of ballistic
And or bats or any other kind of objects being
right. Over the years, the process and technology of ballistic killing has evolved both in terms of effectiveness and pricing, something that, we decided to look at. And the other item I just wanted to mention in terms of what we've seen on the screen just now is a bond grant of sorts from the state that will fund technology. Annually, the district does have a security budget that borders around $1 million, mostly in terms of staffing, but there are line items that are also dedicated towards equipment, particularly the ones that I did mention previously. That line item has increased every year with the exception of one, and that was because of personnel change.
And I just want to emphasize that, I had done a couple of budget presentations at some of the elementary schools. Prior to the events that occurred in other states, people were asking about instruction, what are we doing for reading services and math services, and then so the presentation was kind of geared towards like, here are the math and reading resources that are in our budget. Then things change, and now people are saying, hey, what's the security? I do want to, just to Sam's point, there's over $1 million plus in this year's budget for security and safety. That's part of our overall budget. We just want putting that in the slides to be honest.
And I've been this by, did mention the incredible work that Queen Simone and the security staff doing Sayville. This is also a transition year as well. It's done in growing this long-time security director here to retire and to have Wayne the case now in the partnership with Tracy, and also the depth of knowledge and security guards really it helps me sleep better.
I have to, yeah, I think and I gotta double down on that and say, like, as a new person to the district, I've been in a couple of different districts and the security guards, but in this community, when you walk in, you can see the friendliness and the purposefulness of their getting to know the kids, getting to know the families when they come to the door, so that if there's somebody not, they'll recognize them. And then just the way that they look you up and down, and they check, and they are very attentive. I think it's really impressive the guards that we have in terms of how they're alert and astute. And in addition to the front guards, there are guards that roam the perimeter and the hallways, and any building you go to, you can't really go down a hallway for more than a couple minutes without a guard coming down. Really impressive. Yeah, so I'm going to open up questions to the Board of Education first, and a discussion, and then we're going to get to questions from the team.
Sam, I just had a few questions about a few things that you just mentioned. This active shooter training is being scheduled or is scheduled. When is that?
We haven't started on the probably needs to go today.
All right. And then you mentioned the amount of security guards in each of the buildings, 11 at the high school, 6 at the middle school, and 5 at each elementary school. Is that during school hours?
Yes.
And then how about after hours when there's sports and play practice and things like that?
We have guards at each school. We have, at the high school and the middle school, we have a guard from 5 to 10 o'clock, and at the elementary school, we have a guard from 5 to 9 o'clock.
Okay, one in each building.
Yes, we need to go.
Okay, and then finally, you've also mentioned the emergency level response team. That's at each building. Each building has their own
That's right.
response team, and I don't know if it is, we talk about it, if it's essential, but what does that consist of?
It's designated staff that, by the principals, they choose to get on that team.
And what
It
training?
it's, the psychologists, teachers, security staff.
Thank you,
That would know what to do and don't into action.
thank you.
Are there any other questions from the board about security?
Just a kind of a specific question, in terms of the swipes that are initiated where you can't get access to the classroom. Is that an industry recommendation that you'd be able to use those? Or do some schools and are there some recommendations to, but you can't, they lock down, it doesn't matter if you have a badge or not.
Yes, if there's an emergency, that would be assumed that they would be locked down. But to that point, there's another point I also mentioned, which is just because they have a swipe, not granted access to every single door in every single building. It would be a tiered approach. So let's say they were a staff member of one building, you have access to either just your classroom or certain rooms back. Your principal would have it for your entire building, central, and so on and so forth. In the case of an emergency or lockdown, yes, they will be locked down.
And I just want to add that we've had a couple of situations where we've had to speak to staff, especially coaches on Saturdays, about propping doors. Because what happens is they have a Saturday practice, they want the kids to come, you know, they prop the door, they're in there getting ready, but that's not okay. So we kind of spoke to all our coaches and teachers that we can't prop doors. We've been actively kind of campaigning with the staff to say all doors have to be closed all the time, even on the weekends. And someone has to be at the door to open and let people in and out. And we're aware of that. And the principals have been great about kind of communicating with their staff as well about that. And during the lockdown drills, after the drills are over, principals might make announcements about just remembering for the kids too. Like just because you see somebody that you recognize, don't open the door, they have to go to the front. Or if there's a parent and you don't recognize them, but they look like a parent, you can't just open the door for them. They'll have to go to the front and go through. And that's hard because the kid sees, you know, their neighbor, you know, standing outside of the door near the sports complex. It's hard for them to say no, you know, go around, but we have to get better.
Do we send out regular, reminders, not just, I mean, obviously our staff, we can hold accountable, and the kids, we can constantly remind, but even like our community at large, who come to our buildings, because, you know, they're not in schools every day, they don't learn more protocols on there, and more apt to go in a door, they should be going in more, mostly on the evenings, but, you know, we all need to kind of enforce this together, and I'd like to see on a regular basis, sort of a couple of times a school year, just, hey, here's a reminder. So,
Yeah, I think we haven't done that, but I think it's a good idea. I think we could use things like that. We send out reminders about things going on in the schools, we send them about events, and we can always remember, you know, we're all in this together. Make sure you don't open doors for strangers and keep doors closed when you leave and like that.
Although Christine did ask the question I was going to ask, my question is concerning the exterior doors. Any doors that may be propped open, is there an alarm that would sound that we know what doors are open? Or is it?
It's not having a door across.
Yeah, we did. Can you explain how that works, Wayne? Just so everyone knows. I think there's some confusion, so just clarify.
Well, the door is open for a certain amount of time, it'll start buzzing on the computer.
Okay.
And the guards have in front of them, that the doors are dry. And if you look at the map, you'll see like a blinking light as to where the doors are dry.
And then the guard goes and checks it.
Yeah. I put it on, door is open, you know, after a certain hour.
That's why I wanted to clarify.
Yes.
So just one more question about that, so right now, this is the upgraded system that you're talking about, it's gonna have that, the door,
We have that now.
we have that. But if the security guard's not in the room where the computers, are they able to walk around without the bag and alert as they're active, or they have to be stationary, which may not be anywhere near where the doors are?
Well, the new system we're getting with the iPad is for the camera system, not for the doors.
Okay, but you'll be able to see the door from the camera.
Yes.
Any questions from the board?
Okay.
All right, so then we're going to continue on, finish our meeting, and then we're going to open it up to public comment and or questions for the comment. Sam, do you want to add?
One more point that I just wanted to reiterate. At a previous board meeting, I should say, there was, you know, the idea of security guard training, so to speak, and we're very fortunate that we have the vast majority of security guards that have prior law enforcement training. That eventually evolved into the joint resolution between Sayville and Sayville that would go through NISPO, that there would be not just the minimum training that's available right now, but they would have some significant school training, law enforcement training, and again, specified for the school. And I believe that that has actually caused some traction in terms of potential legislation that would be in place in terms of training.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there was a Senate bill based on the joint resolution we proposed with Sachem. And they've actually had a matching assembly bill. And I know there's the Senate bill was authored by Senator Martinez. The assemblywoman that wrote it, I think it was Pierre or something, and Baldwin, but Doug Smith was the second. Because they were also very supportive of it. And it just means that if you're going to work in schools, that we have school-specific training. Current curriculum now is very broad, broader to also include things like Home Depot, like loss prevention. It's not really specific about the curriculum. So hopefully that, it's definitely gaining traction. So we'll see what happens. We think it'll be up in June. It might get in front of people in the Senate or something.
There is an Assembly and Senate bill number, and off the top of my head, I don't know what they are.
And can I ask, is there a training or a template or something that this bill is for, like, does it already exist? Because the resolution process, the legislation process, are one control process, but they take a really long time. So why do you need the state managing what we already know is done?
That's a great question. That's actually a great question. It's almost like we're trying to help everybody else out. We're way ahead of that curve. In several districts and places, the minimum, the requirements of qualifications, the security guard on that basic training, fingerprinting, and really that's it. It's more or less, I'm not trying to downplay anybody's background qualifications, but it's a course that is not as labor intensive as some of the law enforcement experience or what the school told us to do. As schools that have involved, as security issues around schools have involved, so is the training that is associated with it evolved. Again, we are very fortunate that we have 41, 42 security staff with prior law enforcement experience that will understand what to do in emergency situations, because that's what they're training to. This would basically bring that level up for the districts and organizations who don't have that currently, because the game is changed, and in doing so, the response should so as well.
Like to give an example, like our guards in Sayville are trained on de-escalation. That's part of their training. But that's not necessarily part of the state curriculum. Like it's not at all oriented towards something which is important is to de-escalate, help somebody gain control of themselves. It's just a different approach. But every single guard in Sayville is trained on that.
Different approaches and strategies that, quite frankly, no one would have thought of 5, 6, 7, 10, 12 years ago are part of what's needed now in terms of security training. And again, at a minimum,
I would like to see us, our security resident, be part of the forefront of pushing what we feel to be in those trainings. And I think we do that by modeling it ourselves, and, if everyone benefits from it, great, but, certainly don't want to wait for this process, and then curriculum to be developed, and by that time, it could be years before it actually comes.
We could do something on, Superintendent's Day as well, so we should have training like that.
Yeah, and I think there should be some onboarding training, as I think, when we hire new guards, a huge turnover on what we do, that there are certain things that they have to be trained on almost immediately when they're hired.
Couple other thoughts on this. Just want to ask the precinct officer. I know it's different depending on if it's a patrol car that happens to be going by, but what's a typical response time should there be an emergency in one of the buildings?
I mean, it really depends where they are in the area, like 504, 505 that are in this area. I usually right in the Main Street area of like Sayville.
Yeah.
I mean, their sectors aren't like that like big, and every like sector car has a map of every school on the tablets in the car. So if they were to get a call at like Sayville Elementary, they can just click to the button and they can bring up a map right inside the car to see where the problem is. If it's saying it's in the cafeteria, they'll know where they're like coming in, exactly where they have to go.
Okay, thank you. The other thing is, there are, many aspects of security and safety. There is no one or the other. I think sometimes people say, well, it's either security or it's mental health, and I think it's really both. So we have to make sure that our security and our the doors and the lockdown ability is there, and it has to be good, and it has to be quick, it has to be a response, but at the same time, simultaneously, not instead of. We also do a lot to ensure the mental well-being of our students. We have social workers that we've added to elementary school, middle school and high school, guidance counselors, programs that engage students, because the research is very clear that when students feel connected to their school, when they feel connected to their teachers, when they feel connected to the people in the community, they're less likely to feel depressed, sad, isolated, and or engaging in kind of behaviors that lead to these kind of things. So we have to address this from multiple angles. It's not a one or the other. It's all sides trying to get to attempt to ensure the safety of our community and our students. It starts with the security and the hardening of the doors and the footprints, but also the knowing every single child and making sure that none of them leave our schools upset, angry, and or not mentally well. Okay. So that's the end for us. The only thing I want to add is a reminder that on May 16th, we have a budget and trustee vote, and we want to encourage all of our families and community members to voice their beliefs by going out and voting.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Board of Education discussion. We have hold on one second. Budget, the BOCES budget vote in offices. I think it's in our packet. The budget vote is a yes or no, and we have to vote for 5 of the 6 people who are running. It's somewhere on our agenda here someplace, or is it right now? No, it's number 1002. Next item is we have on Monday, April 24th, I apologize, at 6:30 p.m. There is a commissioners roundtable with Commissioner Betty Rosa. I will be attending, and I think a couple of the board members will be attending as well. I have to say, she's actually a fantastic speaker, and I'm sure some of the conversations are going to be probably discussing security and a couple of other issues that have been coming to a head. Third item on the board discussion is claims order report. Any questions on claims order report?
There was something that was on hold.
Yeah.
That's clarifying. Sure.
So I think Dr. Gurgis did clarify.
Yeah.
I think we're good, Sam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
So there were 5 items that were held for some time with the claims auditor. We were actually able to rectify the issue. It was a flow through pass-through expense related to the bond project with the roof, with scans, also detection of any sort of asbestos. Again, we needed additional justification for the expenses which we did receive, and the funds were dispersed.
Thank you. Any other items for discussion? Okay, it's that time, but before I open it up, for those listening at home, we are opening up a new feature tonight, and that's questions coming from our Zoom meeting. There's gonna be a moderator who's gonna, Dr. Branscombe is gonna share the questions, but if the question's already been asked, I don't know if we can ask the same question. So we're gonna give it a try. So please bear with us. It may take us 1 or 2 meetings to get it down good, but I would like to start tonight. So I'm gonna first read my statement, but I would like to start the discussion on security. But first, let me read this statement.
Before you do that, I just want to say, for those of you that are at home, we're going to open the Q&A portal so you can ask your questions. However, we're going to give first dibs to the people who are here. Everyone who's here tonight will get to ask their questions and have their time. And then when those people are done, we'll then go to the online forum, and then we'll close that, and then we'll ask those questions. So the people who are present tonight will get to go first.
Again, we're gonna try, well, Dr. Officer Benedetto is here. We're gonna start the questions with security. With that being said, the Board of Education and Administrative listen carefully to what members of our community have to say. We follow regulations specified by law and policy as we encourage our community members to offer public comment at Board of Education meetings. The Board of Education requests that anyone who participates in public session, demonstrate civility as they address the board and the community. Board of Education meetings are held in public view, giving the public opportunity to watch and listen to proceedings of the board. In these meetings, the district staff updates the board on matters pertaining to the school district. The board may be required to take action on matters related to board operations. Board policy 1230 provides the opportunity for a period of public comment during the meeting. With that in mind, we offer the brief word on the parameters of public comment. 30 minutes will be set aside for comments and questions by the public before the board's agenda is moved. The board reserves the right to limit public participation in any given case or to extend the maximum comment period if it deems necessary. Questions or comments by the public are limited to 3 minutes per person. Speakers are asked to identify themselves and the group they represent. Speakers should conduct themselves in a civil manner and direct their comments to the board. The board is not permitted to permit discussion involving individual personnel, students, and or community members. Thank you. For someone would like to get up, first question, please. Again, if we could start with security, it'd be very much appreciated.
So just a quick clarification, because it was asked, and that was very remembered it, but that was still on here, so I asked him to stop preparing for this. On the weekends, when the children come to practice, there is no security. So when those doors will pop open, there's no alarm going off telling
doors to the gym were left open in the high school. I drove halfway home, came back, took the chair out, shut the doors. The next weekend I went back for practice and both doors were cracked open. Now, I walked into the building. The doors were locked, the main part of this room, not the gym. But somebody can still get in there and do something in there for one thing. It is dangerous. I would call, so I know that it was a I think, so it's fine. But it was touched upon, and Christine, you said it. Parents, I'm pretty sure that they left the doors kept open, the parent was going to step off. I couldn't see the tail end. I parked, I shut both the doors, and I waited for practice to be over. But that community announcement is very important, because I think that as much as we're all concerned about it, we forget that that's priority to go in and out of the building. More than when we talk about bagels or anything, but we need to know how we're supposed to get into that building. There's no security guard for me entrance. How are the kids supposed to get in from practice when they're in the weight room for the gym? So we either need to hire security guards on the weekend to protect our kids while they're in practice within the building, not just the events, the football game, the soccer game, outside. And so there was some definitely miscommunication. That's why I clarified. So I wasn't going to, but it's important to me to know that our child is safe on the weekend as well, not just during.
Thank you.
So I give you a wrong answer. Coming through the main entrance, I know, skip credit for credit is good. Sunrise Drive does send multiple emails at the beginning of the year, middle of the year. And I just recently sent it all, kids coming in before school. So that's covered. So I don't get school to go. Hold on. My question is this. We're raising a bunch of wimps. You have kids, I've been listening to the meetings over the past few years. You got one kid representing on all with a pencil. You got kids afraid to walk into a classroom because of swag, and it's ridiculous. But it is what it is. Is there a plan? Because I might miss it. Seems like we're stopping someone coming in. What's the plan for when one of these kids walk in with something? Do we have something in plan? Because having security guards walk through the hallways with their shirts, I think it's great. It's a nice presence. But I was the Marine trade. You call them targets? I know Carl mentioned the last one, SEL, identify the student, try and help them. I think that's great. We need more guys like Carl. But it also helps with fun. We can kind of see. Down to the first one we go down. Now we know where the actions happen. And I don't think we're prepared for it. And these guys, I think they took a class, James, you post, gave you guys a class, use a paper. They took a class, a piece of paper. You got arms, it's the best trained people in the nation. Take advantage of it. But the kids are definitely not safe. And I don't think you guys have a plan. My kids do not follow what you guys said. You have lockdown drills. I got my own. And lockdown drills to me is just a body count. For when something bad goes. You need to take a little deeper. I might not know stuff on the education side, I'm good with that. But you're not touching me on this. The security and going on, I did that for a while. So, and I did it in a much higher, I did another country. So you guys are getting me all this. So it just needs to be just flat out, just tell everybody how it's down private, just off the record and that.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for listening to my comments and questions. Since Columbine, there's been 377 school shootings. Sadly, this grim reality reminds us that our community, our schools, and our children are not insulated from this threat. The question for me is that what are Sayville schools willing to do to protect our children so they come home to us? The research shows that active shooters want to cause as much destruction in the shortest amount of time. According to the FBI, and police training, in an active duty situation, one shot is fired every 4 to 15 seconds, with a 50 to 70% hit rate. The first time that a faculty member at a school or a student, from the arrival of the threat to the first time, on average, 2 to 3 minutes. So now, the dispatcher gets called, it goes to a turret operator, who then gives that information to a dispatcher, who then puts it out to the call to respond. That process, 1 to 2 minutes, according to the FBI. Officers' response time nationally is 10 minutes, and I understand there's some rural areas that would affect that number. But the 504 and the 503 car also are single cars, and they assist other cars when there's no. So they may not be in this immediate area. So for Suffolk County, the response time can be anywhere from 1 minute to 10 minutes, it could be 30 seconds if you're down the street. There's no way you can promise that. The second car can be on a transport and assist, or can be at training itself. They go to these active shooter trainings, that second car's down. With all these time frames, that's approximately 14 minutes. That means 57 shots fired. That means 14 wounded and 14 dead. These are the facts. They're sad, they're devastating to think about, but they're simply the facts. There really is only one thing we can do to stop an active shooter. Active shooters don't go to schools because they're well defended. They don't go for, actually they go for the exact opposite reason. They are vulnerable,
I'm gonna ask you to try to finish up for me, please.
defenseless, and innocent. I love it. Please do the research. The best termination of an active shooter is on itself. Either the shooter realizes police have arrived and they turn the gun on themselves, or they engage in a firefight with the police that have arrived, and eventually the threat's terminated. So what do? We have the resource right here in our backyard. NYPD officers often retire when it's not financially strategic for them, but as soon as possible because of the harsh working conditions and the embarrassing support of the city's local government and appointed command staff. All these officers, retired officers, have a pistol license and have passed intensive firearms training. They certify every year as being an active cop, and in retirement, they have to keep their testing up or their license is revoked. Additionally, they've been trained in active shooter drills, the ones you guys talk about. The city has the same things. And they've dealt with the public for over 20 years as a problem solver. As far as firearms retention, they responded to tens of thousands of calls in their career, and on each and every one of those calls, the back of their mind, they're always thinking firearm retention. The argument that an armed guard here in Sayville would leave his or misplace his firearm in the faculty room or bathroom is just ridiculous. We got to remind ourselves, this is the best police department in the country, NYPD, 40,000. They know how to handle fire. They're not going to need
Again, I'm gonna please ask you to finish up. I want to try to give some respect for especially this topic, but I want to hear as many speakers as possible.
Okay.
So kindly
I
please finish.
I would suggest that the radios If they could be that they're coming in, I don't know if it's possible, but it would have to be in cooperation with Suffolk County. Have a van down there so you can switch directly to the PD. I don't think it can happen. It's probably logistically too hard, but suggestion. You mentioned that there's 41 retired officers here and that we rely so heavily on their training and experience. Anybody that's been a cop, the training and experience in a deadly physical force situation is deadly physical force. It's not counseling, it's not saying please, it's returning the threat with the same level of defense that you're being presented with in arm. Well, I think the guards should be armed. We should pay them fairly. Allow them to have a retirement exemption form filled out once a year, so they're allowed to earn more than $30,000.
I'm gonna respect, I'm gonna,
Provide them identification.
Sheriff? Could you give us a copy of that statement? Would you mind giving us a copy of that statement so we could, we'll read it again later?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I scribbled.
It's okay, you see my notes. We would appreciate it. Again, I'm gonna try to give some leeway tonight, especially considering the subject, so please be, if I ask you a couple of times, please be patient. We're trying to give everyone respectful amount of time to speak. We're normally pretty strict for 3 minutes, but I think this is an important subject, so I think we can allow some leeway this evening, so, thank you.
So I came here to speak about something else that I'm putting aside, because security is important tonight. I came up, ironically, I did not get your name, detective or
Officer,
officer.
Di Benedetto.
Thank you. So my husband was on the job. He had my PhD for 23 years in social work, right at that was state and many other things. There were no shootings in most states.
I'm sorry, there was,
No school shootings in both directions. None. None in France, none in Queens. There are too many police on the street. Some schools have them in the building, Saturday. Works of art museums are protected by on security. For what? Monet, the White House. Our children. When there is an active shooter, children die or staff die. Doesn't just like that. Small, really building and that's the and towns surrounding them. There are many layers to security. And I think the officer is aware there is response time. That is the most important thing. I personally can discharge 100 rounds in the fire in 2 to 3 minutes. Officers who initially show up in patrol cars, I'm assuming, I don't know if you get this information now, will be carrying their standard issue 9mm. Not yet in weapons. A 9mm is for short distances. Officers should not try to engage someone with a rifle, with a 9mm. They're putting themselves at risk, they're putting everybody else in the building at risk. If they can't protect themselves, they cannot protect the public. Armed security, perimeter security, that other districts have weapons or tools, those are great firearms to take the threat on. If someone is in the school already, they are that much closer than the stuff in the public. Okay, my husband's retired. He would probably have to shoot me if I wanted, if he wanted to like this little thing behind me. I know you know that's probably, but it's really not short distances. It's not accurate distance. If anyone watched Nashville officer, get the shoot, get the active shooter in that building, you will look at that weapon, have a scope on it. The scope is for accuracy. It's a lot of students, your path that's then by our home. what we're doing in our district is good, but we can't harm our existing security, some of them are already at the beach down. Right? You want to buy your other ones, whatever the case, I'm going to lay you think are important, but I have our perimeter security highlights, wall lights, 4 points. Around each building. You don't see them, the kids won't see the firearms, but they are there. Suffolk County's not gonna get here in time. You have the 27 officers in the department and helmets per mile. For the day, there's 3 sheds. They're all one. This is life and death. You can't stop a fire without. It's as simple as that. And I suggest anyone who is afraid of firearms, learn this. Just learn that. But as firearms introduced to children are horrible. Witnessing something like that, lifelong trauma. Okay, so please consider perimeter security to protect our staff, children, and responding police officers, as well as the entire community for all the affected. I know it's not nice that we have to consider it today, but it is a reality. Other districts, other good districts, good neighborhoods. It's not always the children. I know we spoke about SEL. Sometimes you have to start holding staff down. One person start running. Just this violence create habit that day, and there are no fights. Long Island's a little different. I have that experience in the city, and I know quite a bit about it. So you cannot overpredict these things, and it takes a second. And when it's happening, plans are all wonderful. Sounds great. When you're at splash time, when it's actually running, you will freeze. And every second you're frozen, you're standing. And that's the easiest one to do. Children will freeze. Staff will. These sound great, but you're not practicing it every day. So please consider.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
We just had a couple points of interest in our question. I've actually spoken to some high schoolers because a lot of them are in high school. And they are
Good, thanks.
You're well aware that there are certain unlocked doors still at the high school. They also just recently fessed up and told me that she was able to cut out of the building, walk right past security, left the building, went into town with her friend, and came back with security that was left to the building. I think it's a problem that when kids are late, their parents don't walk them to the building. I think that they should be walked to the building when they're late to school and party. The kids just walk themselves. I think that's a problem too, because the security things are just coming late. So I'm not blaming security necessarily, but I think there are some flaws. I also know that some of the perimeter cameras were not working at the high school. So it sounds great. We have cameras everywhere, but they need to be operational. And so I guess that was just something. Oh, also a couple of students had tested out security recently because they were curious. They brought in large black duffel bags and were never questioned who looked at the whole thing. So again, I know the standard black duffel bag seems very stereotypical, but the kids did it to see what happened and nothing. So we do have flaws. We do need things addressed. Our security, I think overall, has been a lot of good guys. They come in, they're very kind, but I still think we need to step it up, especially at the high school. My question is, I know we're talking about closing all the doors now. What happens when it gets excruciatingly hot in the buildings and there is no ventilation? Because that's a huge problem. Not so much in June, believe it or not, but in like September, October. I'm concerned, although I love the idea of the closed doors, I am concerned that you're going to have kids passing out class because they've got upwards of 9 degrees in some of those classrooms. So it's something to think about. And I just want to confirm, Sammy had said that if you guys do the swipe card for the classrooms, if there is an emergency, they are all shut down. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Rachel. I've spoken at a few meetings recently, but this is a very important topic to me. My daughter attends Lincoln Ave. So when we talk about the door addresses, everything looks good on paper, everything sounds good, but the implementation and the fidelity.
I was at Lincoln Avenue the week before spring break. The door to our system was not in place. There are boards, we say we have security blocks perimeter. There are boards outside the doors that parents are aware that these boards are placed outside the doors so they can pop them so they can get back in.
You said boards?
There are boards. What are the boards placed outside right in front of the side? of the
Okay,
door?
thank you.
I invite you to have to walk around. They
Thank
did
you.
remove, but I played with the outhouse. The parents were the boards there, actually, were walking out, and the parents said, oh, grab the board. There was no door jar system in place. There was security to get back in, so we couldn't find that board, and we came back in, the parents said, oh, there's the board. Right there. Teachers are letting people in. Security should be the one that tells you not to open those doors, but teachers let people in, and I understand teachers are friendly. I love my daughter's teacher. However, security needs to be letting people in. If parents are out looking around, they're putting Easter eggs in the field. Let's walk around. Let's go back through the main entrance. So, well, you know, we have all of this great, and it sounds great on paper, but really, truly, where's the fidelity? Where's the implementation? Like the lockdown trips. They're not being implemented. They're mandated by New York State, but we're not having them. Now, I talked to Mr. Moses from Lincoln Avenue. I do know they are going to be put in place last year. But last year, my daughter at Lincoln Avenue was never in a lockdown. Therefore, mandated a year.
Just, you know, they are being done then. You know.
Right, being carried forward now. So that's my thing, right? Because they were supposed to be in place. Where's the fidelity? Where's the implementation? It looks good on paper, but is my child protected? That's what I want to know. Because you tell me, you show me that she is. But when it comes to the implementation, it's not in place. So I'm supposed to go to bed at night and know that my child is protected when she's not, because the people, trainings aren't being conducted. Staff has stated this. We're supposed to at least, by New York State mandate, have one active trainer to drill and feeder when in the superintendent's meeting. It's not happening. Why is it not happening? Because our children mean nothing. It's heartbreaking to me that we put all of our money into education, and yes, I know we're education, but times are changing. Unfortunate. And what are we doing as a district to really, really protect our most vulnerable population? That's my question. Thank you very
Thank you for your
much.
comments. Appreciate it very much.
Boy, oh boy, you guys got your work cut out. Okay, Sarah. Is that, in the budget? Is that a grant? That's 14, whatever.
The 1.5 million is a bond that we're not paying for. It's something called the Smart Schools Bond Act in 2014. It's money that was given to the district by the state. And we don't have to pay it back.
Has something happened in the district? You didn't go next collaborative program? Was it just precautionary measures?
So this was planned a while back. It's now in the phase that the state approved the plan.
Has anything happened in the district?
Yeah, the wiring and the door stripes have been put in place. The cameras are on order.
I think we should use a little common sense here. If you want to stop and minimize an active shooter, arm your dogs.
One of the things.
Basically, so by the time the active shooter gets in, shoots a few people, staff members, children, here comes Suffolk County Police. 10 minutes later, no offense. 10 minutes later. So, you did the damage. The district is affected now. You got a mark. You want to stop it? You arm your guards. That's it. Right.
Thank you.
Arm your guards, John. Dr. Ferris, arm your guards. Because when this happens, you say, Moses. Okay? And if you, and we do on the security perimeter, it costs about 700,000. Along the river. You can cut that 1.4 million in half.
Thank you, sir.
To say,
Well, one more thing.
Go ahead.
Before I go, this 3-minute rule's gotta go. Okay, because
I-
very important what the people are saying here, and you as board members need to hear them.
I think I said this evening tonight, we're gonna allow,
That's further.
we pretty much follow all the other public schools.
Well, there's some that have findings.
Okay, we appreciate it. Thank
Okay,
you.
but I think to the extent is what they have to say is very important, whether it's about their children's education, or the security, or the district, or the budget. It's important. We pay the tax, okay, and we pay the teacher's salary.
Yes,
So I think it's important you give them as much time as they need to get out, they love the issue, that's what we need to say.
That's the fact that not a lot of people come to the board meeting, so there's plenty of time for us to have.
Because how many times have you told people, hurry up. Maybe maybe 4 minutes, then.
again, I think we allowed,
Most people have done it 4 minutes ago.
I think we allowed some leeway tonight. We do allow some leeway.
I know tonight.
So,
so
and
now we should-
It's not an individual board decision, it's an entire board decision, but we appreciate it.
Well, yeah, you need to vote.
Yes, we do.
Because I think it's important for the taxpayer, parents, and the residents.
Thank you.
Hi, so I just have one really simple question. So we have the Suffolk County Police that we can call, you know, if an emergency is needed. What's the difference between Suffolk County Police and having armed security in the perimeter? Because you're getting there later than if armed security was in the perimeter. So like, we're okay with having Suffolk County Police that's armed, but we're not okay with having armed security. So what's the difference between the two? Can we answer that? Or?
I'm not gonna answer.
I
that
mean,
question.
I'll speak to it because the last time we did a deep dive on security was after the last rash of school shootings. When we polled our security guards who are former law enforcement, the greater majority of them did not want to carry weapons.
Hey,
Okay,
wait,
history lesson, I'd appreciate if you let me finish. Sure. Thanks. So.
Wait.
We're not gonna, if I talk to you.
All right,
thanks, I Appreciate the lesson.
let's
So-
Mr. Cangelosi finish, please.
So when we took a poll, we went in and they said, you know, again, the greater majority said, we do not want to carry. We don't think introducing them in the school environment is the right thing to do. And yes, they are certified, but they are not actively training the way they would as if they were on the force. So they felt if it was a situation, it would create confusion and it wouldn't be as effective, not, you know, just having police come and deal with the situation.
Okay, would we want to consider hiring people that would not have a problem with being armed?
Yeah, I think that should, you know,
I think the discussion needs to occur, and the board needs to consider all aspects that have been discussed tonight about the community, and I don't think we should go, you know, debate back and forth, because there's, right now, but I think we should investigate all possible
Yeah.
options and discuss them as a board.
It's more than appreciate the comments tonight, specifically at this subject, so the board is not finished discussing security by any means.
Right.
Okay. Give us a chance to deliberate.
I just, you know, I wonder if he's sitting there, which is lovely that you brought him tonight, and it's great that you are supporting, you know, Suffolk County Police, but I'm thinking, well, why not just have armed security in the perimeter, because they can get to the school a lot quicker than Suffolk County Police.
I think in any,
It's almost common sense. I mean, it's a pretty simple solution, and we're cutting down on spending on how much money we're spending. So, you know, it just seems pretty.
in either situation, we want to coordinate with the subject.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I agree with that as well. I just have one more comment
Go
to
ahead.
make before, I know I'm not even close to my 3 minutes. The
And we're giving some extra time tonight, okay, so go ahead.
The last time I spoke here, I mentioned that I was a school teacher. Oddly, my superintendent was contacted by an anonymous person. So whoever the person was, took time to research where I work, because I didn't announce that, and then contacted my superintendent, to let my superintendent know, she shouldn't really be talking at board meetings. So whoever that person is, feel free to talk to me. If you don't like what I'm saying, we can discuss it. So
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm new to Sayville, my son is new to Lincoln, so I'm in the process too, but what's the protocol from you guys, or what do you require from the community to get our opinions, to hire staff that wants to be armed at the schools? What's the protocol, and how do we help as a community get the ball moving for armed guards outside the school, inside the school, where, like, what else can we do as a community to voice our opinions, to start a petition, like, what else can we do? Where does it stop? Does it stop with you guys? Because I don't feel like we can talk all night, the same people come up here and talk about the same things, but there's no movement. What can we do? If nothing does happen, then we have change, but I don't want that to be the situation. So what else can we do as a community to convince you guys that we need armed guards and we need armed security that want to have a gun on them to stop someone from coming in? So that's what I want to know. What else can we do to, like, get the ball going here?
Well, first off, we're having this open forum right now, and again, the board needs to deliberate this again, and we will talk about this again. So the first domino is falling. That's all I can say. It's a board level discussion along with the administrators.
It's important to attend board meetings, to voice your opinion, to let them hear how you feel, and let them deliberate and make a decision. There are other things the board can do, you know, to find out more information, but I think this is the whole point of the process, right?
Right, and my son's in kindergarten, so this is really just my first year of board meetings. But I just feel like it's the same conversations. If another school shooting, it's another conversation. If another school shooting, it's another conversation. Where does it go past the conversation? Like, when do we get to that next level?
And I appreciate your question, and I think you actually raised a very good question, which is like, how does the process work? I can
Right,
tell you, like,
what's the
like, I'm a
process?
trustee, I represent the community, I'm elected, you know, unpaid, low-level political official, I have kids in the district. The last time we did the deep dive on security, which was not that long ago, I like to base my decisions on research. You know, does bringing guns into the school, you know, make the children safer, you know, significantly? Is there statistical significance? I think emotionally, it definitely makes us feel better. But at the same time, like, we have to think big picture. And to your point, I think the more research you can bring in from reputable sources that points to the fact that arming school guards makes our children safer, I think, you know, that's something I would listen to. In the past, when we did the deep dive, and I try and stay current on this, and I brought this point up the last time, was, listen, I'm not myopic enough to think that there aren't bad guys in the world and that we don't have a mental health crisis in this country. But it's got to be a multi-pronged approach. This is a huge reason why we have mental health issues. So again, to just talk about bringing guns into school is not going to solve the problem. We need to be lobbying our federal officials and our state officials to ban assault weapons. We need to, you know, and again, preventing at-risk students and young people that want to kill large numbers of people is the most effective approach. Then when you have at-risk people, being able to identify those people, having staff that's trained, and again, staff, I'm talking custodial staff, school security guards, educators, parents, students. So again, it can't, to just talk about guns, we're missing the point here. I think we would all be open. I don't want to speak for anyone on the board. We definitely be open to hearing, you know, the benefits and seeing more research on the topic. But a lot of it seems to be more emotional and anecdotal than like hard facts. I appreciated the timing, like when you talked about the timing of how school shootings happen. But again, depending on where you are in Suffolk County, depending on where you are in New York State, the times are going to differ. And again, relying on our security guards and taking feedback from them, the fact that they weren't comfortable doing it. Again, I would love to hear more from Suffolk. I'd love to hear more from Homeland Security to see how, if their opinions have changed since the last time we discussed. And to that point, I think talking.
Policeman or someone like, we're the ones with the kids in the school.
Oh,
I don't think we're just talking about having the armed guard inside the school, and even just talking about perimeter, like having someone just walk around the school. The Tennessee one, the girl wanted to go to another school, but found out they were armed and killed this one instead. So there, I don't have the article right in front of me, but that's their example. Getting into the
one because there was no protection. That's one example off the top of my head. I'm being very unprepared, but I felt moved to have to say something tonight because I just feel like it's a constant conversation. I just want to see more.
So,
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you for your comments. I want you to know that we're gonna take this into account. We'll meet on this with our admin team. We'll talk to our security team. And I think it's to the point that was mentioned. It's never like, oh, we did that last year, so now we're done. We have to relook at it over and over again each time and kind of improve on what we're doing. And it is both the soft kind of things you can do, but it also has to be the hard things you can do around the globe. So
Yeah, this is, I'm gonna say this, and this is a community effort. This is not just the Board of Education. It's not only the teachers. This is the parents. And certainly, when we see parents leaving doors open, that frankly infuriates me. You know, it's why make a hard target a soft target? Our doors should not be open. It is, our access to our building should be limited to just one entrance only, and our exit should be one exit only. Our doors should not be propped open, period. But it takes everybody to do this. It takes our parents to tell their children not to do this. It takes our administrators to tell the staff, don't do this. Certainly building the doors open at the high school, it's not good. It makes it easy. This should not be easy for anybody. We work too hard on our kids to make this easy. And that's that simple. This board will continue to have discussions about this. We take safety extremely seriously. You know, we stay awake at night sometimes worrying about our kids. I stay awake at night and I worry anytime something like this happens. And it's great that we have this opportunity to have this type of back and forth. This board takes the safety of our students and our staff as serious as possible. And we're going to try to do what we can do in the near to distant future, if not immediately, to protect each and every child and each and every parent and each and every teacher in this district. That's period.
Once perimeter guard and one is going to stop 100 feet from leaving doors open. So from getting anyone.
That is one point. That's thank you. Before you start, can I just see how many more people would like to speak about security? So, okay. 2 more? Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just curious about what the disadvantage would be of having front guards when NPS shows that within 14 minutes, 15 shots were fired, 14 were wounded, and then 14 dead. So what's the disadvantage? Trained, cops, military, being armed, but I'm seeing a disadvantage.
I couldn't answer that question specifically, but thank you.
Hi, my name is Amanda. I'm also a kindergarten mom. I spoke at the last
Hi.
one about security issues. I agree with every single person that spoke tonight. Carl, I know you're looking for hard statistics and facts. I think this gentleman provided some. I think that we are all aware that dead shooters, we can't research what their mindset was prior to getting to the location where they actually committed the crime. Our kids' safety shouldn't even be up for discussion. We, as a community, put you in these seats. You, as a board, are responsible for protecting our kids. Period. End of story. This is what we are asking for. You have a choice to make. This officer was kind enough to come spend his time. I'm a military wife. I have plenty of cops in my family. You're a cop before you're a politician. A gun stops a gun every time. What do you think?
Look, I'm a father of 4 kids too, so
And there it
my
is.
kids are out of school now. They went to Sachem. But kind of like the other guy said, my kids had their own escape plan
Right.
outside of what Sachem had.
Absolutely, and we might
So,
build them as well.
yeah.
But this shouldn't be a conversation. This shouldn't be a conversation. It shouldn't be something that all of these parents have to get up here and plead for. We're asking for a couple of guys with weapons to walk around the school. When there's a problem, you call an officer. What is the difference? Like they said, what's the difference? If you realize that an officer with a gun diffuses the situation and that's what you call, why not take preemptive measures? There's no reason not to, other than money, which at a $102 million budget, we can figure it out.
Thank you.
Just a few things. You mentioned the swing cards. So when that happens, the door is shut, nobody can get in.
Unless they have this one.
Okay, so what happens if there's a child in the bathroom, or roaming the hallways, are they able to get in?
So there's gonna have to be a process for those kind of situations, obviously.
Okay, and then getting back to, armed security, who did you poll for, whether they wanted to be armed or not? So that there was some sort of poll.
Our security staff.
You did, okay, because I've spoken to several of them and no one knows anything about the poll.
Were they employed at that time?
Absolutely.
That's,
Let
those,
me tell you, they want to be armed because it's not only protecting the kids, they're protecting themselves as well. They want to go home at night also, okay? And getting back to the Tennessee, situation, the doors were locked. They had swipes, whatever it was, that shooter shot through a locked door. Locked doors aren't really the answer either. Okay, because they could very easily walk up to the door and shoot it down, and that's how that intruder got in, right? You mentioned before about the ballistic film over, windows, that's actually me that emailed you this morning regarding rioting. I hope everybody would go and look it up, it's RIOT tint. This is a fairly new technology, it's a film that goes over existing glass. So when it's penetrated, it does not shatter the glass, okay? That will give you 7 minutes to react. It's almost like a warning. Someone shoots through the door, and that door will not shatter upon penetration of the bullet. Okay, so I would highly urge you to look into that. I'd be happy to take information, set up a meeting, to talk about it, because we've already, enrolled 6 districts on Long Island that are already doing this. And we've contracted 819 school districts outside of New York who have already ordered, this protective film. It's just another layer of security. However, that doesn't solve the problem because eventually they will make their way in, but at a slower pace, okay? And as we know, minutes are very valuable. They can be the difference between life and death for several of the students. Real quick, just getting back to the armed, security, you would be crazy to think that that would not be a solution, because as we're sitting here right now, if somebody walks through that door, yeah, you have a handsome, security guard at the door. What is he gonna do?
We're relying on you.
You know what we're gonna do? No disrespect, but if you wanna go and do your research, you go and do your research, but in the meantime, well, that takes years to take place. On security to protect my kids, because that's why you're here, okay, and you can go and do your research. Research does not stop an intruder, okay, you can't have these guys throw a walkie-talkie at somebody holding a assault rifle, not gonna happen. It has to be, because we don't want to have to react to something, we have to be proactive, it's the only way. Okay, if I have to stay on to that middle school and write for myself and guard it, I will, but I don't wanna have to do that, okay? I'm a busy, full-time working mother, that is the job of security. And my God, I think you do it, and I don't think we're gonna stop until you do, so.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding security? Any other questions? Okay, we're gonna,
Well, just want to check online, we have a Q&A.
oh, sorry, that's right, I forgot.
We're gonna close that window now for the Q&A online, if there were any online questions that weren't already asked.
Mr. Branscombe, you wouldn't mind just reading them, would you?
Sure, we do have, one member online that did ask a couple of questions. Does appear that they were answered, but I'm gonna read them anyway. Are interior classroom doors locked? My daughter said most of the classes in the middle school, the doors are left open. Our teachers being reminded to keep those doors closed at all times. And that's all for our.
I think we answered it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for coming tonight and asking your questions. We really do appreciate it. Next item on the agenda tonight, is, hold on, I apologize. 7-1 approval of minutes, for April 4th, 2003. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second. Discussion? Discussion? All those in favor? I was just waiting for discussion. Sorry. Okay, recommended action. Without objection, could I call 8-1 to 8-12, please? Second,
Second.
discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried. 9-1 to 9-3, please. I need a motion. Second,
Second.
discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried. Okay, we have 10-1. I'm gonna call these two separately. Eastern Suffolk budget vote. I need a motion.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried. On 10-2, we have to elect 5 of the 6 candidates for our Eastern Suffolk BOCES board. I will read the names. Imran Latif, Susan Littman, Ann McKesky, William Miller, Catherine Romano, and Norman Wagner. I'll give you my input on the ones I do know. We need 5 of the 6. Norman Wagner is a longstanding board member in BOCES. He's been an advocate for children for a long time. Catherine Romano is our Area 12 Director, also a member of the Eastern Suffolk BOCES, member of REFIT, as well as a member of National Suffolk School Boards, a tremendous advocate for education. William Miller is been a long-term board member in BOCES, another one who I think we should support. Susan Littman is a longstanding board member was in West Islip. She's also Vice President of National Suffolk School Boards, member of REFIT, and she's also on the Region's team for education. The other 2, I know Ann slightly, so I would recommend Ann over Herman. So it's anyone else have any input?
I agree with the same one you said. I agree with you as well, including Ann.
Which one?
I agree with you as well, including Ann.
Okay.
Agree. Same.
Okay, so all those in favor of those candidates?
Agree.
Motion, I guess that's the motion. Discussion we already had. Again, all those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. The district clerk will let them know that they've been duly elected. We'll just get back to the agenda. Without objection, could we please call 10-3 to 10-5? Motion,
Motion.
second,
Okay.
discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried. 10-1, upcoming dates, middle school spring concert, on April 25th, 7:30 PM. April 26th, high school spring concert, 7:30 PM. April 27th, high school spring concert, 7:30 PM. Budget hearing and workshop, May 9th, I think it's gonna be at the admin building. Is that correct for now? Excuse me, and May 16th, the budget vote and election, 7 AM to 9 PM in the gym over here, wherever, over here. So we have no plans going back to executive session? No? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? I don't think we're gonna have much of a discussion on this one. All those in favor? Motion carried. Have a great night, everybody.